This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free. Can you imagine the feeling in the pit of your stomach as a judge tells you you'll be spending the rest of your life in prison, and you've done nothing wrong? It's hard enough being blamed as a child for stealing candy when it was actually your smirking brother, but how must it feel to be wrongly imprisoned? In 2015, it was reported that 149 people were released from US prisons after being cleared of guilt. The average sentence of those prisoners was 15 years. 54 people were cleared of murder, and 5 people that were cleared were waiting for a life-ending seat in the electric chair. But one innocent man has served the most unwarranted time in US history, and that's who we'll be talking about today. In this episode of the Infographics Show, why did this innocent man serve 39 years in prison? Recent reports talk of a man named Albert Woodfox, who was kept in solitary confinement for 43 years in America. He has always said he was innocent of the murder of a prison guard in 1972. Most lawyers who know the case have said this man was innocent, with one lawyer telling The Guardian that he spent all those years alone in a cramped cell for a crime in which all the evidence was undermined. So, Mr. Woodfox, we apologize if we have it wrong about the longest prison sentence of an innocent man in the USA. It's also likely there have been longer sentences of innocent people around the world, but perhaps these cases didn't get into the English language media. Ricky Jackson was released from prison in 2015 after serving a sentence of just under 40 years. This native of Cleveland was convicted of murder when he was just 18. He spent all those years in prison and can be seen in photographs after his release, grinning widely, his hair now graying, and his eyesight not what it used to be. He doesn't look bitter in the photos, but he was suing the city of Cleveland for his wrongful arrest, stating the police deliberately framed him. His lawyer said, "We now know substantially more about the fallibility of eyewitness identifications. Too many people have been sent to prison wrongfully based on bogus identifications." Jackson was already awarded $1 million in compensation, but he is looking to prove he was denied his constitutional rights as an 18-year-old and that several police officers had deliberately fabricated evidence. One report states, police searched the homes and cars of all 3 defendants, but they never recovered a murder weapon or any stolen property. Nor were police able to link any of the 3 defendants to the green getaway car seen by several witnesses. The arrest and conviction rested mostly on the testimony of an apparent eyewitness, a 12-year-old boy named Edward Vernon. The conviction was overturned when Vernon came forward and recanted his testimony in 2013. According to reports, police had little to no evidence that Jackson had committed the murder of Harold Franks, a salesman who was slain outside a store. Reports from back then state that Hanks had acid thrown in his face, after which he was clubbed and then shot several times. The assailants stole $425 and ran away. The 12-year-old Vernon had said at the time of the murder that Jackson, as well as Wiley and Ronnie Bridgman, killed the man. In 2013, he said, "At the time, the cops made him say it." He said the police said, "If you don't say it was those 2 brothers and Jackson, we'll put your family in jail." He also said that later in life, he didn't come forward because he was afraid he would be prosecuted for lying. As an adult, he also got into some trouble himself, being convicted of drug trafficking and gross sexual imposition. All 3 men received the death sentence, but all 3 sentences were commuted to life terms. One of the brothers served 25 years as an innocent man and was released on parole in 2003, and the other brother served 37 years as an innocent man. The men want justice, which they believe they do not yet have, even considering they are now innocent men. They are going after the police who put them in prison, even though some of those 8 officers are now dead. Other reports state that at the time of the robbery and murder, Vernon had been on a school bus and had heard shots fired, but he didn't actually see who did it. He did talk to police, and it seems he was forced into saying it was those 3 guys that did it. The thing is, police had another suspect who had been implicated in the crime, not just by informants, but also by his own mother. The lawsuit against the police says they ignored that and went after the 3 people it seems they wanted behind bars. What happened to the man who was implicated in the murder? A few years later, he was found guilty of multiple counts of armed robbery. The lawsuit goes further too, saying cops beat Jackson up to try and get a confession. It states that police repeatedly put a phone book on Mr. Jackson's face and other areas of his body and hid him through it so that it would not leave any marks. Cleveland's Finest, according to the lawsuit, also put the 3 men in a lineup. The boy didn't identify them, not until the cops made those threats that if he didn't pick the 3 men, his mother and father would end up in prison. Other reports state that classmates of Vernon have even come forward to police to say that no way did he see anything. After all, they were on the same bus. Police ignored those statements too. They testified in court, but 3 juries were not interested. How does Jackson feel now? He has been asked that question by the media numerous times. "I intend to live well," he told the Smithsonian, "but it has nothing to do with whether I'm here in this nice house or whether I'm homeless. It has to do with attitude. I've been given an opportunity, you understand, and I'm not going to waste it by holding grudges." He told the press that prison at first was tough and he had to fight, but as he got older, he changed, studying, finding solace in novels and books about history, biology, and nature, saying he would often read a book a day from the prison library. "I had this ember inside me, some little smoldering piece of hope. I'd say, if I give up, what am I really surrendering to? And so, you go on," he said in that interview with the Smithsonian. He wrote to journalists and filmmakers about how it was so obvious that he had been set up. Many times, he could have had his sentence shortened if he'd admitted guilt, but each time he passed on that. Jackson now calls life rebirth and says he is lucky, as many innocent men are still in prison today. As for the 12-year-old kid who helped put him in prison, Jackson has met with him and says all is forgiven. In an interview, he said he was just this goofy little kid who told a whopper. With some cash in the bank and a woman in his bed, he's doing all right. He plans to visit Jamaica and Ireland, spreading wings that were clipped by police corruption for almost 40 years. Situations like this and others can really drive a person to the edge. Sometimes we just need to take a break and relax. To do that, we suggest taking a Skillshare class called Meditation for Beginners: How to Meditate Without Silencing Your Mind. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in fine art, film production, freelancing, and more. The first 1,000 people to use our promo code Infographics33 or to click the link in the description will receive 2 months of premium membership absolutely free. Join Skillshare and start learning today. So, how many innocent people do you think are in prison? How many innocent people accept plea bargains? Do you trust the police to always be ethical? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to watch our other video called "This Man Spent 43 Years in Isolation." Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.